The Ottawa Senators have placed goaltender Mike Condon on waivers. In today's video, we're going to discuss the situation and what led to this and how the Senators may move forward with their goaltending situation. We'll discuss all that coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams, so if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. As I mentioned off the top, today at noon Eastern Time, Mike Condon of the Ottawa Senators finds himself on waivers. So of course that presents a number of options for the Ottawa Senators club to kind of move forward here with their goaltending situation. They very well could end up losing him if he's claimed by another team. It also gives them the option to send him down to the minors and maybe give another goaltender a chance. Now, in case you're not really familiar with what kind of led to this, most of you probably realize that he hasn't had the greatest performance here between last year and so far this year. Last night, he did have only his second start of the year against the Arizona Coyotes, and then the first was, I think, 10 minutes or so of the game. He already gave up 3 goals, and the third goal was the absolute straw that broke the camel's back. Derek Stepan scored a shorthanded goal from about 125 to 140 feet. I'm guessing about closer to 125 feet away, which clearly he should have had. It was just one of those clear dump-in shots and then trickling right through him and into the net. So after that, the coach had seen enough, gave him the yank. Craig Anderson, who was supposed to have the night off, had gone in to finish out the game. Ended up being a 5-1 loss. So Anderson ended up giving up 2 goals in about 2.5 periods, which is okay, not fantastic. Overall, really, the Sens lost that game in the first period. It was kind of a weird game anyways. They didn't have the greatest start, didn't have the compete level, and the work ethic just didn't seem to be there. They got behind. They had a goal turned back, which probably should have been a goal. Then they had another goal challenge, which probably shouldn't have counted. It was just a really weird first period of action for the Coyotes and the Senators. And with Mike Condon's string of poor play here, it's kind of caught up to him, and they've placed him on waivers. So by noontime tomorrow Eastern, we'll find out if another team has placed a claim to take the veteran netminder off the Senators' hands. However, I won't be surprised if he clears waivers and remains unclaimed here. Now, he's under contract for the remainder of this year and next at $2.4 million. Now, in case you don't recall a little bit of a history here, Mike Condon, he's been known as a guy who's had to work really hard to get where he's at. He went undrafted, ended up getting signed as a free agent by the Montreal Canadiens back in 2013. Finally get a chance to really debut and have a run at their situation back in 2015 when Carey Price was injured. He got into 55 games that year, didn't do too badly. He finished that season with a 2.71 goals against average and a 908 save percentage. So for a rookie goaltender taking on that many games in Carey Price's absence, really it wasn't that bad. Now, like he's had throughout his whole career, he certainly had his moments when things didn't go well, but he certainly had his games where he looked fantastic too. Surprisingly, the next following season, going into training camp, Carey Price is healthy. Condon obviously isn't going to be the starter, but there's certainly some debate if he'll be the backup or not. He ended up being placed on waivers at that point and was then claimed by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, the Penguins didn't really use him a whole lot. I think he made 1 appearance with them. He mainly just sat on the bench because they were having some issues with their goaltending as well, with some injuries at that point in time. So once they got their guys healthy, at that point they still had Fleury and Matt Murray. So once everybody got healthy, he was then made available and was traded to the Ottawa Senators, which I believe it was only a 5th-round draft pick. It wasn't a whole lot that they gave up to get him because they were now in a bind with their goaltending situation. That's the time when Craig Anderson had to reveal that his wife was diagnosed and was battling cancer, so he was going to need some long stretches away from the team throughout the year. And at the same time, they were also dealing with the fact that backup Andrew Hammond, who also really hadn't been playing the best, was injured and dealing with some hip issues and concussion issues and whatever, and he wasn't able to play either. So they were really in a bind. They went out and got Condon for next to nothing, and he got off to a fantastic start with the Senators. Now, he ended up having a shutout in his debut appearance with Ottawa and really saved that season for them. He was fantastic down the stretch and during the 16-17 season. He ended up playing in 40 games, and I think at one point he played 24 or 25 consecutive games in Anderson's absence due to a lack of a solidified backup goalie on the bench. They played the heck out of Condon, and he really delivered some fantastic results for them and helped get them into the playoffs that year. He finished the year with a goals against average of 2.5 and a save percentage of 914, so by far the best of his career, really established himself. So after that strong season and strong performance he gave the Senators, obviously that was a big part of them being able to go to the playoffs and reach the conference final, where they ultimately lost against the Penguins in Game 7 there of the conference final. But still, like, he was rewarded with a new contract, a 3-year deal with an AAV of $2.4 million. So last year was the first year of that contract, and as we know, things did not go well for Condon or for Anderson, or really not too many guys on the team had good seasons. It was overall pretty much a disaster overall. Now they're going through a bit of a rebuild here. Mike Condon finished that season with a goals against of 3.25 and a 902 save percentage. So certainly not great statistics at all. So certainly a bit of a downhill slope from the year before. And so far this year, he's only made 2 appearances, but still both games were not good at all. He got shelled in Boston. They let him make his debut for the season in the Boston Garden, which is a place where he grew up watching the Bruins, and he's grew up not far from that area. Was a Bruins fan growing up. Took in many games there, so it was kind of a special moment for him. But it did not go well at all. The Bruins really hammered him that night, and then of course he goes in last night for his second start of the year and gets shelled by the Coyotes in the first 10 minutes. I realized that his team wasn't an overall great help, but giving up that goal from 125 feet, like I said, was the straw that broke the camel's back here. So as we've noted here before, there certainly are some NHL teams looking for some help in goal. There's some teams that certainly use some assistance there. I'm not sure that he is the answer for them, especially if they have to take on his contract as it is. So I will be a bit surprised if he gets claimed. I'm sure the Senators will be probably a bit relieved if he is, get that contract off their books, and they can give one of their other guys a chance. They'll either bring up veteran Mike McKenna, who's pretty much an AHL goalie for most of his career, either give him a chance or maybe bring up one of their youngsters in either Hogbird or Gustafsson as well. They do have a couple of good goalie prospects in the system here, and maybe they'll either give them a chance, more time to play the American League, give McKenna a chance, or either way, I'm not sure how they're going to proceed here. A lot of that's probably going to depend on whether or not Condon is actually claimed. As we've seen with Zach Smith earlier in the year, he was put on waivers, went unclaimed, and went nowheres. It doesn't automatically mean that he's going to get a demotion or be claimed here by another team. So we'll see how this goes, but I think, Condon's time could be up in Ottawa. And so that goal he gave up last night, in case you didn't see it, I will link it down in the description to see the clip. It was an absolutely ridiculous goal from about 125 feet away, and very well could spell the end of his time in an Ottawa Senators uniform. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. Do you think Mike Condon is going to be claimed here by another team? Could he actually be of assistance to another club? Is there anybody out there desperate enough to take on a struggling goaltender making $2.4 million? Personally, I highly doubt it. If you're new to the channel here, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there's plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.